Hello and welcome back to Tarotzahara. I know, I'm still the same weird and wise Tina Zahara. Okay, so tonight we are going to talk about the suits and the aces. First of all, the suits in the Minor Arcana correspond to the suits in a playing card deck. The cards are exactly the same, except there's an extra court card, and that is the page. But cups equal hearts, and clubs versus equals wands, and spades versus swords, and pentacles equal diamonds in a playing card. So if you're ever hard up, you can always do a reading with a playing card deck. But, okay, the reason we had to do the astrology is because you have to understand the characters in the Minor Arcana, and they will go by element. They will go by earth, air, fire, and water. Earth is represented by pentacles, and air is represented by swords, and water is represented by cups, and fire is represented by wands. So I always think of it as fire and a wand equal a torch. Cups hold water. Swords cut through the mental noise. And pentacles are what you earn or what you deserve, which can be a little dicey. Okay, so there's a masculine and a feminine in tarot, just like in certain romance languages have masculines and feminines. Your feminines are the vaginas, the pentacles, and the cups. Your masculines are the penises, the wands, and the swords. Okay, so when you read the majors, you're getting the heavy influences. Like, is this, this karmic person that's in your life, or this karmic situation that's in your life, or that's about to be in your life, or however. The minors give you the details on how that's going to happen. You see the tower. So you're like, well, gee, the tower could be one of a million things. How do I know which one it's going to be? The minors will give you those clues. The minors would be like, okay, here's a tower. And then you get a 6 of rods, which would be a car. And, and you're like, okay. And you see an 8 of rods, and that would be like, falling or flipping. And okay, so I'm going to flip a car. I'm going to have a car accident. The car's going to flip, right? And then that way you can get more specific in your predictions, or more specific in your understanding of a situation or person based on the minors. And you can more easily identify who a person is when you understand that, like, a King of Pentacles is going to be an adult male earth sign. So that narrows it down considerably. A Queen of Wands is going to be a fire sign, adult female. A Page of Cups is going to be either a young person who is a water sign, or they're going to be someone who's developmentally challenged, or very immature, or high, or something that sort of limits their capacity as an adult. And so when you're dealing with the suits, I always see the way it was taught to me at any rate is the cups are your emotions, how you feel about things. If you have a cup, any of the cups, right side up, it holds a lot of water, right? Or in this case, it even looks like it's an excess of water in the cup, right? And when it's reversed, it's like when you turn your coffee cup upside down, when you're out to breakfast, meaning don't put anything in here. I don't want any coffee, right? Don't put any emotions in there. I don't want any emotions. And, Ace of Pentacles, right? You're going to have either a lump sum of money or a new job or the beginning of some sort of financial enterprise of some sort. Reversed, you're going to have a lack of money or owing money or paying money or loss of a job or something that is financially, that you have depended on financially, right? With an Ace of Swords. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to cut through all this nonsense. I'm going to start this thing out fresh. Because your aces, I read the aces like aces in blackjack. They're either like one, like the beginning point, the starting point of something, or they're 21 or they're 11, like the next one higher to the 10s, because the spot cards don't go up any higher than the 10s, right? So you read them the same way. So an Ace of Swords would be like a severance, cutting somebody off, cutting something off, getting laid off of your job. Or it could be a brilliant thought that you have, right? That needs to be acted on. And with the Ace of Rods, you're looking at like the initiation of something. Like, you're getting started on a new program. You're getting started on something new. The aces are, to a certain extent, tarot isn't, it's not a computer. It's, it's kind of it's an art form. And so you won't always see a new job as an Ace of Pentacles. Sometimes a new job will show as a magician, which is a 1, or a fool, which is a 1, or the world, which can be the starting of something, or even the death card, like finally your unemployment is finally over, or your period of being poor, whatever, is over. And so it doesn't always translate exactly to, cups, pentacles, wands, swords. It doesn't always correspond exactly, but it should, theoretically speaking. And so when you're dealing with your aces, you want to think, okay, is this the beginning of something, or is this the high point of something? Is this the culmination of something? Is this the highest this thing can get as a minor, anyways, as a minor? So you have to kind of identify that. So let's say you have, in a spread, you have the Magician and the Ace of Wands, right? That could very easily be meeting a new guy that you would have some sort of sexual chemistry with, that you might even have sex with. It could be just as easily, it could be, I have this brilliant idea and I'm going to get started on it. And so you really need those minors in there to kind of help fill in, like, how do I know the difference between a lusty devil and an angry devil, or a fearful devil, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, the minors will give you all that stuff. And generally speaking, and the minors stray a lot more in the reversals than the majors do. The majors, most of them, for the most part, sort of weaken or strengthen or reverse what the card means right side up. Whereas with the minors, like, for example, You know, the Three of Swords reversed is like confusion and smoke screens. Like it doesn't really, it kind of looks like that, but you just got to kind of know that. And again, if you're doing your 3 spreads a day every day and you're pulling your 24-hour spread every day, you should be by now starting to get a little bit of a feel. I mean, it's going to take time, you know, everything takes time. And whenever you learn anything, there's, you know, you reach plateaus and you get kind of stuck for a while, and then boom, you know, one day it just kind of clicks into place. But I want, you know, this way, when you see the suits, right, you could just straight, if you had to, if you just didn't remember that, I don't know, that the Two of Cups is promises or commitments or something, right? If you didn't remember that, you would say, well, it's a 2 and there's 2 people on the card, and they look pretty happy with each other, and it's cups, so it's probably emotional. So this is probably 2 people having a nice time, something like that. You can kind of take a stab at it. You don't necessarily have to remember every little detail, although it obviously helps too, and it helps to use the pictorial key until you get used to it. You know, to sort of understand what the minors actually mean, until you get used to it enough that you remember it without the card, without the book. I hope that you guys are using your book of tokens, because now we are finished with the majors, and the book of tokens. If you have been using your book of tokens and you have been, you know, reading it the way I was saying, you know, like last thing before you go to sleep and letting yourself sleep right on it, and, you know, whatever, then you will start to have those knee-jerk reactions to those cards, to the majors. So, you know, it's, you know, that's how you sort of train your unconscious to understand it, so that it's not all on your conscious mind remembering, oh yeah, this means this, this means this. And again, if you're writing your notes out by hand and then you're typing them out, you're getting the lesson as you hear it, the lesson as you write it, and the lesson as you type it. So you're getting it, learning it 3 times that way. So that will help you as well. Next video, because this one's going to be a short one. Next video, we're going to start getting into what each individual card, you know, what each individual Minor Arcana card means. But I just wanted to explain to you guys about the different suits, and about, you know, just reading by number and by suit. And, you know, again, as my teacher taught me, cups are, you know, happiness and fulfillment or emotions. Wands are actions and faith and beliefs. And swords are thoughts and clarity. And pentacles are what you earn or what you deserve, or money. But don't let anybody convince you that every time you see a pentacle, that necessarily means money. Too many psychics make that mistake, and they miss making some good calls because they're too busy thinking that every pentacle is money, when it's not always money. Sometimes it's what you deserve, which can be a great thing, or can be something horrible if you screwed up. So in any event, if you like what you're learning, I hope you are enjoying this class. I'm certainly enjoying teaching it. I know this stuff. I speak tarot as a first language, and when someone is talking to me, blah, 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 and they're talking really fast, I'm translating into tarot, because I understand tarot better than I understand English, because English is much more limited than tarot. And you'll see that when we get into the 56 minors. So if you are enjoying this, please like and subscribe. Please share if you know anybody who might benefit from this, or anybody who's paying too much to psychic lines and wants to try and do some of their own readings, you won't be able to do, you can't replace having a reader by having a tarot deck. You just can't. But you can minimize the amount of money that you spend on readings. If you're one of those people that spends a lot of money on readings, you can minimize that by having your tarot deck and doing, for the most part, your own readings. And then when you hit something that doesn't make sense or scares you, or something you really don't like, then you can, reach out to a psychic, you can reach out to me, whatever, and see if you can come up with a better result. So anyways, thank you very much. I hope you learned something and have a lovely day.